In this video, I'm showing you how I installed this Invisible Ktip Curly install. Hey guys, it's Chanel. In this video, I want to show you how I texture match and do an invisible micro Ktip install with curly hair. This is her hair blown out. And then I'm just going to walk you through some of the parting process, just to identify the areas we leave out so that they can pull it up in a high ponytail. Now, this does vary from client to client based on their texture, their density, how many grams they're looking to have installed, but the process is relatively the same for each client. Then I use this little Velcro piece to make sure all of her short hair stay out of the way. And then kind of just do our final part so that we can have the area out in which we need to be able to start adding the K-tips. Now her hair is fine, so for me, it's always important to do density matching. So when she was asking what variation of the K-tip installs we should do, I suggested that she actually does the micro invisible K-tips, only because it allows her to have the proper density on the strands that we place the K-tips, and so she won't experience breakage and there won't be any tugging or unnecessary tension along the way. So this is why we did the micro K-tip, and I'm just showing kind of the amount of hair that's being left out and that we're adding the K-tips to. With density matching, the amount of hair that we use per strand matters, but also the amount of keratin on the bond adds to the weight. The amount of hair strands within the K-tip adds to the weight. So we have to keep all of that in consideration when we're trying to properly density match. With so many people switching to K-tips and so many stylists recognizing how much money they can make from K-tips, it's just alarming how many people are unaware of how to properly density match. And because of that, clients can experience breakage by you not putting the correct amount of hair on each strand of their head, especially if their hair is already damaged to begin with. For you then to add a really large bond or a really large K-tip to a fragile piece of hair, their whole hair will come out from the root. So it's just important that you get proper stylists, you get proper education, go to someone who actively does K-tips and knows what they're doing, because the more you do it, the more you learn. And that person can really outline how to really care for your client's hair, because that's the most important thing. Also, if you are getting K-tips, you want to make sure that they have a plethora of installs that they've done and they could show what each bond looks like, because density matching is like a buzzword now for K-tip stylists, but a lot of them don't actively know what they're doing. So this is a micro K-tip install. These bonds are very small. The hair we use is very small to where it does not tug and pull on her hair, and it gives her the flexibility to wear this install for a longer period of time without there being additional tension on her hair from really large bonds or really large pieces of hair attached to each strand of her head. So this is just me doing the second K-tip, and I just wanted to show the process is relatively easy and straightforward. You just have to know what you're doing. You have to know how much heat has to be added to the bond. You have to make sure it's melted all the way through. You want to make sure that the size of the bonds are correct. You want to make sure that they are smooth. You want to make sure that the hair is actually placed correctly in terms of, I've seen a lot of Black K-tip or African American K-tip stylists in particular, because we initially had seen K-tips with those defined parts, and then we were attaching the K-tip at the base of their parting that we made it. A lot of times clients didn't like that because they were uncomfortable with how it felt. So now I bring down the bond a little bit lower, a little bit off base, so they have more flexibility. But as you see, these bonds are seamless, as I'm going to show you now. So I inserted a bond and it just flows in her hair, and it's properly density matched. It's brought down off base to give her flexibility from day one, and there's no discomfort in the process. So now I'm just showing me styling and using some water and then our leave-in conditioner to keep it moisturized. I literally live for our leave-in conditioner because it's moisturizing and it actually penetrates the hair strands instead of just sitting on top of it. So you see me spraying her hair down, staying away from the bonds because you don't want to get the bonds wet. And then we are going to use leave-in and a little bit of foam. I asked her if she knew what products works best for her hair. She said no. So just from experience and kind of understanding her hair type, once I got in there, I used foam and a little bit of gel to get the perfect install for her. So this is what we came up with. Her hair looks absolutely amazing, and I really love this install. Now, there are things that I would prefer to do with some clients. Like this client, I would have liked to use a few more K-tips to where we could have filled in that back crown area. But the more hair we use, the more we have to install, the price point changes. And I just really don't like altering the prices like the day of. K-tips are already an expensive it is already an expensive install, and so I don't like changing my prices. My prices are very transparent. I'm very honest with my clients. So I didn't I did add a couple more pieces, but I didn't try to like tax her for them. Now, if I would have had to add like 25 to 50 extra, I would have had to charge her, but I just tried to do what was necessary, and I'm just blending in her hair to get the perfect look. It turned out great. It's just me being a perfectionist. There's things that I see and notice that I would have liked to exchange, but typically we do consults via text message for free, or we do them via Zoom. And then we do an in-depth consult the day of the appointment so we can really pattern match and go over all of our clients' requirements and goals so we can make sure to achieve them. And then I try to give clients an idea of, hey, you want 250 grams because you're doing 28 inches, you may possibly need 50 extra grams. This is the price, and I try to give them both quotes so they are aware, but I try to stay within, if you say 250 grams, I really try to stay within that. But yeah, the install turned out perfect. She was an amazing client. She looks gorgeous, and stay tuned for my online training for K-tips as well as in person.